almost there.
Looks like we're live.
Looks like it's low.
It's
We
fine.
good? Yep, I think you're good.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So now that we are back in open session, motion is in order at this time.
Move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Alder West. Okay, so Felicia, if you could read the item.
Point of interest, in the order for folks watching at home, could we reread the item?
Yeah, that's what I just requested.
Yep. Communication from Mayor Mason seeking to meet in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute section 19.851E to address a matter that for competitive or bargaining reasons requires a closed session specifically regarding an amendment, the agreement with the Main Attraction LLC for the redevelopment of an 80-unit boutique hotel, restaurant, rooftop bar, cafe, banquet facility. Staff recommendation to the Finance and Personnel Committee that the amendment to the developer incentive agreement between the City of Racine and the Main Attraction LLC for the redevelopment of the 80-unit boutique hotel, restaurant, rooftop bar, banquet facility, and meeting rooms in and on the former Zane's department store property at 500 Main Street among Monument Square be approved, and that the mayor and the city clerk be authorized to execute the amendment on behalf of the City of Racine.
Okay. And fiscal note, the loan amount will be available upon resolution by the Common Council and closing on the city loan with Board of Commissioners. So that is the item before us. It was moved and properly seconded. Thank you for reading that. Any discussion on that item at this time? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. All right, can we move to the next item, please? Item, what is it? Item 122-21.
Kara, I don't have Bobby. I need Bobby for the next item.
Okay.
We are
Brief
looking-
pause.
Thank you, everyone.
Brief pause. So it says the host has declined her.
The host has declined. That's interesting.
Maybe. But John and Kara got back in. We're gonna have Bobby just try one more time. Any ideas why it would decline her? She said she's gonna try calling in.
Okay.
All right. Chairman Taft, would you want to move on maybe to skip Bobby's item and move on to the next item until Bobby can get here?
I think that is an excellent plan. So we will hold on the next item and move to item 124-21.
122-21.
Oh, did I get out of line? Oh yeah, I got out of order. Yep, next item is 122-21.
This is a communication sponsored by Elder Taft on behalf of the Commissioner of Public Works, submitting a request to transfer $35,000 from the contingency fund to DPW Parking System and Park Department 2021 snow and ice operations, and authorize the hiring of contractors for snow removal for city-owned properties. Staff recommendation to authorize the finance director to transfer funds from the contingency fund in the amount of $35,000 to the aforementioned accounts as needed. If additional funds are needed later in 2021, the Commissioner of Public Works will come back to this committee to authorize an additional allocation. Fiscal note adopted 2021 budget for the contingency account is $200,000. Funds are available for the transfer in the 2021 budget account number 11202-56200. This will leave $90,000 remaining as a contingency fund for the remainder of 2021.
Okay. Then
Yeah.
motion would be in order at this time.
Is Commissioner,
Go ahead.
is Commissioner Rooney here to kind of speak to the item? Before we make a
I
motion?
believe I'm unmuted now.
All right.
Yep.
Oh, okay, yeah, Commissioner Rooney, would you like to speak to the item?
Sure, thank you, Madam Chair. I did submit a memo with the agenda item for tonight. I can read it aloud for the benefit of those watching this meeting virtually. In December 2020, I came before this committee to obtain funding to cover snow plowing of city parking lots and parking ramps from a private firm. The request from December was based on 3 issues regarding labor shortages due to frozen positions that had not been filled, a large number of unanticipated retirements due to employee handbook changes, and possibility of COVID-19 outbreak in field operations. At that time, we had estimated a need for $150,000 in funds to cover this winter season based on historical data from past seasonal operations. But with an unknown determination of the amount of snow we would receive, the following action was taken on this item at that time. One was to authorize the finance director to transfer funding in the amount of $75,000 from the contingency fund to the aforementioned accounts as needed. And that if additional funding was needed later in 2021, that I would return to this committee to request authorization for additional allocations. And 2, to authorize and direct the purchasing agent to negotiate and hire the contractors needed to remove snow from city-owned off-street facilities if necessary. With the major snowfalls we've had already, we spent $53,574 to date, leaving a balance of $21,426. I can actually update that through last snow event. I think that ended on the election. We're actually we're approaching $73,000. But based on the balance in place, we request an additional $35,000 be appropriated. $17,500 for the parking system, $5,000 for our DPW street maintenance, and $12,500 for Parks Department. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Okay, Alder, take the second.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Commissioner Rooney. One, just want to acknowledge the foresight that you all had to anticipate these funds earlier in the year. Not recognizing how much snow you were going to get, but recognizing that a need was there. I do want to kind of inquire further to what the need is today. So I know we originally explored and allocated these funds based on, anticipated retires and unfilled positions. To date, how many of those vacancies have been filled at this point that were held over vacant? And how many of those anticipated retirements have been realized?
Well, we have 11 retirements right now. Quite a few of the positions that were unfrozen have been filled, and we're still looking to fill some of those retired positions. Our biggest obstacle with is not just the filling of those positions, but the training of those individuals that actually can execute snow and ice operations. Generally, what happens, Oliver Tate, as I'm sure you're well aware, the DPW employees go through pretty rigorous snow and ice training in the fall. So many of these new employees have never been through that. So the ones we are taking on that are new employees are kind of driving with other drivers, getting used to the routes, getting used to how we do it. And it's a slow go. They're a little inefficient. They're not as experienced, obviously, as those that have retired that were some of our best and most experienced operators. So we are getting there. It's just that we haven't filled all those positions yet. And the ones we have filled are not quite ready to be out there on their own and be very efficient.
Completely understandable. If for common council, you could have some concrete numbers available for as far as those retirements and positions filled, I think that would be appreciated.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, are there any other questions for Mr. Rooney regarding this item? Okay, seeing none, I think a motion would be in order at this time.
Move to approve.
Moved by Alder Tate the second, seconded by, was that Alder Young?
Second.
Okay, I'll go seconded by Alder West. Are there any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next item is, well, do we have Bobby with us yet?
We do have Bobby here, so we could go back to item 0126-21.
Let's do that. Going back to the
Alright.
top of our open session agenda.
All right, so this is a communication sponsored by Alder Taft on behalf of the Public Health Administrator, requesting permission for the mayor and city clerk to enter into a contract addendum with Maximum Healthcare Staffing Services to provide an on-site healthcare services, including but not limited to healthcare clinic, testing clinic, immunization clinics, and on-screen services to the Racine Public Health Department, patients, and other personnel as applicable. Staff recommendation is that permission be granted to the mayor and city clerk to enter into a contract addendum with Maximum Healthcare Staffing Services to provide on-site healthcare services, including but not limited to healthcare clinics, testing clinic, immunization clinics, and on-screening services to the Racine Public Health Department, patients, and other personnel as applicable. Fiscal note to be discussed.
Okay. So, okay, you are recognized.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to be here tonight. This is simply, I'm asking for amendment to our current Maximum contract so that I would be able to cross-train the nurses that are currently here that have been with our department, that have been trained on all of contact tracing, contact notification. They have also taken all of the education on the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine. They are ready and willing to vaccinate when vaccine becomes available and we can ramp up vaccinating our community. So I'm trying to plan ahead so that we can be ready as the city of Racine gains more vaccine. This, I know it says that the fiscal part is to be discussed. It is covered by a grant under DHS that we're waiting for. So there's no city match to it. This is all COVID funding that we would continue and they would be paid out of.
Okay.
Does anyone have questions?
Yeah, how many of these nurses total are we talking about? I remember sort of around 10, and then. Yeah.
We currently do have 10. About half of them are interested in assisting with vaccinations. The other half would stay on contact disease investigation, contact tracing, but they could go back and forth, the ones that are going to help out in clinic, so that we'd have that flexibility week by week. Our allocation comes to us, we only get a week notice for allocation, so we have to plan accordingly and quickly. But I also want to make sure that we have enough staff available that can vaccinate if it becomes available, so that we can vaccinate safely and effectively as soon as possible.
Okay, I will recognize President Tate at this time.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Governor Evers did recently sign, I think, AB Assembly Bill 4, which did expand those who would be professionally capable or eligible to do vaccine distribution. I'm wondering if that's being taken into account with our who, with the contractor, with the staffing firm to expand who their pool is for us to do vaccines. Because I know there's a pretty extensive conversation first led about, you know, the high bar, for lack of a better term, of who could be brought into our health department to do the work related to COVID. And not that the bar has been lowered at all, but certainly we're expanding those who have some proficiency in, you know, medical services to do this work. And obviously in our ramp up, we're gonna make sure that any, you know, recently graduated students or recently licensed healthcare professionals, perhaps not RNs exclusively, are capable and able to, you know, be brought into our operations to help with the distribution of vaccines when necessary. So I'm just curious how that recently signed into law legislation is affecting our particular contract in this case.
So I'm not quite sure if I'm understanding your question completely, Alder Tate. So I just want to make sure. So you just want to make sure that we expand and that there'll be more individuals allowed to vaccinate as we get more vaccine?
Yes, if I recall correctly, when we first went into this contract with Addendum, or excuse me, with Maxim, there, I think Director Bowersox was speaking to the necessity of kind of RNs or nurses and not necessarily LPNs or something with a, you know, a lesser year degree, fewer year degree. And with the governor recently signing into law that pharmacy techs, I think a number of other, you know, positions that would be able to do vaccines will be authorized to do so. You know, how does that affect this particular contract in terms of who we're hiring, or not hiring, but at least who we're asking our contractor to hire for us?
Well, so we are actually, so this amendment would not be to hire additional agency staff. This is just to take the current agency staff that we have and cross-train them so that they would be available. If
Okay.
in time we need to increase even more, we could partner with additional partners within our area, such as nursing students and other, we could open it up then to LPNs and other individuals to help us.
Okay.
This is gonna be a all hands on deck, so we're gonna just have to move. So tonight I'm just asking for current staff.
Okay. Thank you. Well, definitely want to put
You're
that on the
welcome.
radar. Definitely want to put that on the radar then for when we really ramp up, that we want to get everybody who can vaccinate in to help us vaccinate. So with as few barriers as possible, as long as they're qualified and are, you know, legally authorized to do so.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any other questions? Seeing none, a motion would be in order at this time.
Move to approve?
Moved by Alder Young,
Second.
seconded by Alder West. Any further discussion on the item? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to, let's see, item 124-21, if I am not mistaken.
We have a communication sponsored by Mayor Mason on behalf of the Sustainability and Conservation Coordinator requesting to apply for the 2021 Lead for Cities Local Government Leadership Program 2021 National Cohort, grant control number 00367. Staff recommendation that staff be authorized to execute the necessary application form to apply for the grant. Fiscal note, grant award in the form of technical support, no city match.
Okay, and am I correct in thinking that we have the Conservation and Sustainability Coordinator with us to speak to the item?
Yes, I'm here.
We do.
Okay, you are recognized.
Great. Thank you, Chairwoman. I'll go ahead and read the memo that I provided to you all in anticipation of the meeting. So just as a reminder, the acronym LEAD stands for Leadership in Energy Environmental Design. And this is a part of the U.S. Green Buildings Council that essentially certifies buildings for energy efficient building standards, as well as cities for sustainability efforts that they have. So the executive summary that I'll read states, the Lead for Cities Local Government Leadership Program 2021 National Cohort convenes U.S. local governments, cities, towns, and counties committed to certifying and lead for cities and accelerating progress on climate change, social equity, and resilience. Through a competitive program, local governments participate as a cohort, collaborating and exchanging ideas with peers as they get organized, set goals, collect data, and apply for certification. Each selected local government will receive a dedicated U.S. Green Buildings Council staff liaison, providing project management and coaching support, technical assistance, and quality assurance, quality control on certification materials. Access to a multi-day virtual orientation program for staff, appointed and elected officials, and partners, monthly networking and convening opportunities with a national cohort, public relations and marketing assistance, and a case study on your U.S. Green Buildings Council project directory page tied to certification announcement, how-to guides, education resources, and other project management tools, and access to green building policy and advocacy support and connections to local communities, and our network of thought leaders and practitioners. Additionally, the Bank of America sponsored national cohort provides each project with U.S. Green Buildings Council membership at the silver level, registration and Lead for Cities, certification review fees, and access to the ARC reporting system to encourage continuous improvement and benchmarking. And as a reminder, we did apply for this grant last year and lost out to Dane County and Madison, Middleton. They had a kind of a cohort, but they're interested in receiving an application from us this year again. So with that, I'll answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Looking for questions. I don't see any questions. Oh, Alder Young, you are recognized.
Thank you, Coordinator Pratt, for pursuing this grant once again. Could you just speak to what the general benefit to the community would be if our staff and team in the city of Racine had access to this type of education and professional development?
Sure. Thank you, Alderman Young. So I spoke really extensively with Middleton's Sustainability Director, Kelly Hilliard, who was project managing for their Dane County team. And she said that this was instrumental in drafting a climate action plan for their city and county task forces, and then also in encouraging developers to consider LEED as well. So this can help us with a number of our goals and help improve city energy efficiency as well. So it can help reduce operational costs if we start to look at it for our own city buildings and infrastructure. So I think that this has a number of different benefits to move us forward on sustainability goals.
Thank you.
All right. I see no further questions, so a motion would be in order at this time.
Move to approve.
Moved by Alder West. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alder Young. Any further discussion on the item? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, motion carries. Moving, thank you, Coordinator Pratt. Let's see, so the next item is item 112-21. Please proceed.
We have a communication sponsored by Alder Tapp on behalf of the City Attorney's Office submitting the claim of Dirth Foster for consideration for disallowance. Staff recommendation be that the claim be disallowed. There is no fiscal note.
Okay, Attorney Rubix, would you like to speak to the item?
Yes, please. Thank you. So this claim of Dareth Foster was requesting $378 worth of damages for a television that was allegedly broken as a result of vibrations caused by a contractor digging in his neighbor's yard on or about December 17th of this year, or of last year rather. The city searched to see if we had any crews out in that neighborhood on this particular date. We did not, but his neighbor did have a contractor by the name of Earl Heppel and Sons Incorporated, according to permit records. They're a plumber who was digging in his yard and caused the vibration. Because the city had nothing to do with this plumber being out there, The city has no liability and recommends disallowance of this claim.
Okay. Thank you.
Move to disallow.
Okay. Moved by Alder Tate II, seconded by Alder West. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. Next item is item number, yep, go ahead, go for it.
Item number 113-21, a communication from Alder Taff on behalf of the City Attorney's Office submitting the claim of Peter and Barbara Lehman for consideration for disallowance. Staff recommendation that the claim be disallowed. There is no fiscal note.
Attorney Rubix, please proceed.
Thank you very much. This claim filed by Peter and Barbara Lehman against the city is requesting $1,527.03 in damages resulting from their basement allegedly flooding due to a water main break on or about August 26, 2020. The city and the utility had no prior knowledge of this water main being compromised. Once it learned of the issue, it was immediately, crews were out, dispatched to repair it. And, you know, the law dictates that if a municipality has no prior notice of a defect in a water main, then the municipality is not liable. For that reason, we would recommend that the claim be disallowed.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, a motion would be in order at this time.
Move to disallow.
Okay, moved by Alder Young. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alder Tate II. Any further discussion on the item? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. That would bring us, I believe, to the end of our agenda. So at this time, I believe we are adjourned.
Good night. Enjoy the sun.
Thank you,
Mr.
everyone.
Aye.
Enjoy the lakefront.
Have a good night, everyone.